Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm the Cap Out of Time Mun. Hi. Oh, God. I'm kind of a dork. I apologize in advance. Okay, so I've got a few questions here in my inbox, and pretty much everybody asked the same thing, among other questions, and what all of you seem to want to know is, why did I choose to RP Steve? Well, kind of have two reasons, and one of them is, well, very basic and kind of boring, which is pretty much I'm a fanfic writer more than anything else. That's how I got into fandom. That's what I've always done more than anything. I've only RP'd in the past couple of years. I love it, but it's still much newer to me than my fic writing. And so I actually started RPing Steve because I was planning to write him, and I wanted as in fanfic, and I wanted to get to know him better. Of course, now I know him so well that it's actually a little difficult to get into other characters' heads sometimes. So, you know, right now, biggest problem is Pepper. Still working on it. Anyway, so that's one reason why I picked Steve, and the other one is that I clicked with him from the beginning. I saw Captain America: The First Avenger. It was the first Avengers movie I watched, actually. I saw Captain America, then I saw Thor, then I saw Avengers, and then I saw Iron Man. I could not get a hold of anything but Iron Man 2 ahead of time, and I didn't want to watch it without seeing the first one. And then after I saw the first one, I couldn't get a hold of the second one anymore, and I still haven't. Yeah, it's kind of a joke. But I saw Captain America, and I adored Steve. He hated bullies, and that just was so perfect to me. It made so much sense, and I related to that so much. Plus, he's an artist, and, you know, I'm a writer. I can't draw to save my life, but there's a certain degree of similarity there. And I kind of canon assumed as soon as I started hearing that he might be Irish, that he was Irish Catholic, which I'm also Irish Catholic. So I had a lot of reasons for identifying as him. And I also started developing a lot of headcanons for him that didn't always match with the fandom expectation, I suppose. And I wanted a chance to play with it. So, okay. Someone else had asked, Catlove Asgard specifically, asked, what do I think about the fact that Chris Evans gets to be two Marvel heroes? Well, I think that's kind of hilarious, because, you know, wait a minute, why did Johnny Storm look like Cap but act like Tony? I was trying to watch the first Fantastic Four after having watched the Avengers movies, and I just kept sitting there laughing at Chris Evans, and, you know, I couldn't help myself. It was just hilarious. However, I hear they're rebooting the Fantastic Four series, so unfortunately that joke's not going to last much longer, which makes me sad. Catlove Asgard also asked, who's my favorite Avenger apart from Steve? And that's not fair. That's so not fair. How am I supposed to answer that? Honestly, I have to say Tony. It's a very, very close tie. Very, very close between Tony and Bruce. Tony wins because of the snark level. Bruce snarks in Avengers, but it's quieter, and Tony, like every other word, is some kind of snark, and I love snark. It's my bulletproof kink. Most of my favorite pairings involve lots of snark. I blame Anastasia, Anya, and Dimitri. It's all their fault. So, Tony, yeah, it has to be. But I love them all. That's the thing. I just adore them all, so it's very, very difficult to choose. And, okay. So, the last question that was separate from the why did you RP Steve, which everyone asked, except for one. So, an Anon asked, Catlove Asgard asked that, and Playboy Stark asked that. Hey, Kay. Anyway, there was one more Anon who asked two completely different questions, which was, what was my first fandom, and how did I get into Avengers? Well, I'm sure all of you can relate to this. I got into Avengers because Tumblr. Because, goddammit, Tumblr. I was on my personal, where I was just minding my own business, reblogging A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones things mostly, and a lot of Italia, though more Game of Thrones and less Italia by this point. And bam. Avengers gift set, Avengers gift set, Avengers gift set. Well, my curiosity got piqued, and what was I going to do? This had already happened once, because this is why I started watching Sherlock. God damn it. Well, Sherlock only kind of caught me. Avengers sucked me in, and now I can't get out. This is mostly something I don't regret. First, fandom is kind of a tricky question because it depends on what you mean. First fandoms I was involved in were actually about the same time. The Tamora Pierce fandom, specifically the Tortall books. Oh, no, sorry. Tortall and Circle Magic at the same time because my first fic was a crossover. And Stargate SG-1. I started writing fics for both of those fandoms at the same time when I was 14 and in 8th grade, and those fics sucked. They just sucked. I should delete them. I'm sentimental. I can't quite bring myself to delete them. They're at the bottom of my fanfiction.net profile, and I hope to God nobody ever looks at them ever again because they're just really, really bad. Really bad. Just, oh. Ahem. Anyway. But the first thing I ever got into that lasted in, sort of the fascination level that most of us recognize for fandoms is actually the Tudors, starting with the history and then also the show, even though the show is not. Basically, if you have a history project to do, please don't base it on Showtime Show the Tudors. You will fail. You will fail miserably. The history is very hit and miss, but it's well acted for the most part. It's mostly well written, except that they have trouble keeping track of the things they changed in history. So first the history, then the history in the show, and that's lasted since I was about 8 years old, and I'm now 22, so technically I suppose the Tudors. Anyway, so that's all the questions I got asked. I'd let you see my room, because that would, also constitute meeting the Mun, but it's a freaking mess, because I live alone, so I only have to keep up with it so much, and I'm not a naturally very neat person. So, too messy to show. Right. So, I think with that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and I can't really think of anything, so with that, I will sign off, and I hope that my being a complete and utter dork has not completely turned you guys off following my blog. Anyway, well, nice to meet you guys.